Women, and increasingly men, are becoming more and more preoccupied with their weight. Just before this show, I want you to know, I asked this audience, I don't care what size you are, how many of you, once a day or maybe twice a minute, think about your weight and clap to show how many people raise their hands. Just about everybody in this audience. And we're talking about people of all different shapes and sizes. So this has become a national obsession, weight has. While many of us are growing heavier, our body preferences, the bodies we tend to like, are growing thinner. I was just talking to some ladies backstage who are plump and beautiful, and they say, you know something, I'm happy being this way. But on today's show, they're going to get a little conflict, because you're going to meet a woman who says that overweight women who say that they're proud of being overweight are only fooling themselves. We're also going to hear from a man who believes there is absolutely nothing wrong with eating as much fat as you want. But first, I want you to please welcome plus-size model Emmy, who is the author of a book entitled True Beauty. And she says we all have to stop dieting as a nation. And also, Weight Watchers graduate Kathy Zajaskowski is joining us. Kathy, nice to have you. Kathy lost 150 pounds in the past 3 years. She says she was miserable being fat. Kathy, you have been on our show before, and it's hard to believe that you used to have 150 pounds attached to you. You say what when it comes to weight, and as we talk about this obsession that our nation has?
Well, I think more than an obsession with dieting, it should be healthy eating, more geared towards healthy eating, because overweight is not good for our health. And I feel being overweight in the past, and now that I'm thinner, it's much better being thinner than being overweight.
Didn't you think, though, that there was a certain point, there's some people that are overweight, quote-unquote overweight, that might be off the charts but still work out and still get fit and still go out and be very athletic and can be more fit than someone who's a lackadaisical, very lazy size 8?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But
it's not just
healthy
about
eating is the whole
dieting.
thing.
It's not just about that. It's about healthy eating, being fit, taking care of yourself.
Now, Emmy, you take great pride in being part of the plus models.
Absolutely.
Why? Tell me why it's so important that we have a plus model.
I think that we as a nation really need to have a certain image that is represented in the media, in billboards and movies and everything that you see in magazines, of a variety of images. Instead of it just being very small and ectomorphic, very thin, we need to have endomorphs and who are rounded, people who are mesomorphs, who are very strong, very big build, and so that all the people in our society don't feel that they're inadequate.
Well, what do you say to people who say all those plus models, they're just a bunch of overweight women trying to make that okay with everything?
I think that's a bunch of pooey. Thank you. I just think that, you know, I think we have to really stop being so obsessive with every single diet that comes out, making us feel that if we have 10 pounds to lose, that it's the most important thing of our lives. There's so much to life that can be involved in
But you're not saying
family.
that Kathy should have left on that 150 pounds she
No,
had.
as if you've taken it off for a long, long period of time, and you did it in a very healthy way, and you weren't obsessive about it, and you learned a new way to eat, and that you don't feel that you're being pinned in a box, because if you go off the diet, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? That's the whole thing of dieting that I don't agree with, is because it's the lifestyle change, not just another diet.
That, like so many people say, look at the first 3 letters of the word diet. What does it spell?
Horror.
You know, you know that it's such a deprivation to us. Do you? Your life has changed having lost that weight.
Totally.
Do you?
I mean, I was heavy my entire life since I was a kid. It's a miserable life. People don't accept you. Being overweight is very difficult, and being thinner now, I can say that I represent both sides.
Now that's
she lives a beautiful life. She's a model. I mean,
But look at you. You're beautiful, Kathy. Even when you were overweight with that gorgeous face that you have, people still discriminated against you?
Yes, I was made fun and called names my entire life, and those scars don't go away. But you know, facing the age of 40, I have 4 children. And I'm a registered nurse. Healthcare field. I know, that being overweight is not healthy, and I want to grow old and see my kids grow old, and I felt that I wasn't living a healthy life, so I made lifestyle changes. being overweight was unhappy for me. This is much better. Much better.
How's your self-esteem too? Because I talk to people when they're
compare.
But did you have to work on your self-esteem at the point where you were at before you lost the weight, or are you working on that now, gaining it because you've lost weight? Because I think you're the same person as you were at 100 pounds more as you are now.
It's a continuous growing process. And that's why I promote this. I have a group that meets in Great Neck for self-esteem and weight loss therapy. I feel it's absolutely a must, because you have to learn why you're overweight, and then you can, when you find out what it is that makes you eat, or whatever it is that is in your past, then you can make that connection. And when you make that connection, you can avoid those pitfalls again. And it also improves your self-esteem.
Well, it's kind of like what we were talking about backstage. We were saying that it's not only how we treat ourselves that keeps us loving ourselves, but how we think about ourselves, too. When we come back, we're going to talk to a guy by the name of Richard Klein and a lady by the name of Joyce Vedral. Richard says that he's inspiring all of us folks to eat all the fat we want, because diets, he says, just do not work. Now, Joyce is going to come out here and disagree totally, because she says it is possible to lose weight and keep it off and take care of yourself all at the same time. Boy, are we going to have a battle with weight today. Stay with us and find out what happens during this hour. We'll be right back in a minute.